When I was just 6 years old, I woke up while it was 3 a.m. I checked the windows and I saw a man who was laughing and just disappeared. The next day I went to school and one of my classmates said, "Bro, I saw a man laughing at 3 a.m." I was like, "What the?" I saw that too. In my mind, could he be in my house? It happened when I was 11. I was a bit of a problem child then and had a habit of staying up at night. One night, I was sitting in my room. My room is located so that if you open the door to my room, you can see a long corridor in our house directly from it. This corridor is so long that no light enters it at night. And so, I'm sitting in my room and drawing something in my album. At some point, I'll turn to the door and see something standing in the corridor, similar in height to a child, 8, maybe 9 years old, and this something was on this long red bag. At first, I didn't understand what I'd just seen. I began to blink, rub my eyes, and do everything to unsee it. But it didn't go away. And then the thought of, what if I'm not just seeing things at all, flashed through my head. I had no idea what to do. I just turned to the table and tried not to think of that. Tried to think that this something wasn't actually right outside my door. I didn't hear any strange sounds, only the sounds of my heartbeat. But at some point, I heard steps somewhere far away in the corridor. I didn't dare turn around. It turned out that my mother just woke up. She came to my room and scolded me for not sleeping. I've never seen anything like it. I still don't know what it was. I was at a friend's house with two other friends when we were playing Brawl Stars and we were playing 2v2's friendly battle. I lost, so I screamed from anger. Suddenly, a man knocked on the window. I opened the window and asked, "What do you want?" He said, "Can you be quiet? I'm trying to sleep." After I closed the door, my friend started crying. When I asked her what's wrong, she said, "We are on the third floor." Me and my cousin were walking at a park one late night in Mexico, and a little white dog kept following us, but this dog looked a little weird and its back was all humped. But anyway, when we were walking to our house, the dog just kept following us, and every time we turned around, it gave us this creepy stare. By the time we got home, we looked back, and the dog wasn't there, so we just never thought of it as weird until we turned on the TV. We had a little window on our roof so we could see the sky, and when we looked up, the dog was just staring at us and started scratching at the window really aggressively. So my cousin went to get his bat as I stood there watching him scratch. At the window, he looked a bit off and edgy, as if someone was in his skin. But by the time my cousin got back, he was just staring. So we went up there. It was only a ladder, so there's no way he got up there. He wasn't there except a smell like a dead body. Later, some dog that looked like the same dog from last night was found dead with its stomach cut open. Thank God we moved. At the time, I was, I think, 7, maybe 8, and I was hanging out with my best friend. In my house, we had the most awesome basement where we would always hang out. One time, me and my best friend were home alone. We were hanging out. We opened the basement door and walked down the stairs to the basement. In the past, we always said we could hear weird noises from the cellar under the basement stairs. It always scared us, but we never thought anything of it. Anyway, we were just playing in the basement home alone when we heard the noise again. It sounded like a man's voice or something. We were so freaked out, especially since we were home alone. We eventually got up enough courage to open the cellar door and see if anything was there. Nothing. Nothing was there, so we wiped it off and continued playing. Soon after, we heard it again. Now we were really scared. I told my best friend I would go get my iPad and record, see if anything was there. So I grabbed my iPad, opened the cellar door, turned on the cellar light, propped up my iPad, and closed the cellar door. We were so scared, we ran upstairs. We left the vid recording for about 6 minutes. We were scared, but we came back down and opened the cellar door and turned off the video. Scared out of our minds, my best friend and I sat down and watched the video. The video looked normal for about 15 minutes until you could hear us walking up the stairs, exiting the basement. When the video just went black, completely black. The rest of the video was black all the way until you could hear us walking back down the basement stairs when the vid went back to normal. It wasn't like the light went out, but something covered the camera. It was especially weird because nothing was in the way of the iPad. I'm still weirded out to this day. My big brother used to have an imaginary brother, and he would always play with him, but sometimes he would say, "Stop, leave me alone," or "No, I don't want to go to my room to play." My mom would ask him, "What's going on?" And he would say, "He won't leave me alone." Of course, my mom had no idea what he was talking about and thought it was just him being a weird kid with an imaginary friend. Well, a day after my brother's birthday, he had these balloons, and keep in mind, my brother's just a little kid, and he obviously isn't tall enough that he could reach the plates, knives, forks, etc. It was around 10:11 p.m., and my mom heard the balloons pop. So she went outside, and my brother looked really scared. So my mom asked him, "What happened? Did you pop the balloons?" And my brother said, freaking out, "No, it was him," pointing to his imaginary friend that my mom obviously couldn't see. My mom saw the knife next to the balloons and immediately knew that he was too short to reach any of the things he said. So she said, "Get out of my house," to my brother's imaginary friend. Since my mom couldn't see him, she asked my brother if he left already, and he said he had left and thanked my mom. Later, about 10-15 minutes later, my cousins came over, and my cousin said that they saw a woman in all white with her hair in front of her face in the front door. My brother said that that was his mom, and she opened the door. My cousins were already inside and asked my brother if she was still there. My brother said yes, and that she was mad. She started to yell. She started to yell for her to get out, and then she asked my brother if she was still there, and he said no. My brother is now 19 and says he still sometimes sees him in his mirror. Yes!